Should I do that? Thank you. So here we are for the Heart of Courage uh, during the Courage Action Hour of OPWP. Um, this is an opportunity for us to, I bring up a word that I think has to do with courage, and then we have a discussion and we build our understanding and our commitments to being courageous in our lives. So today's word is organize or organized or organizing. Those are all forms of the word. And I looked it up in the dictionary, which is what I usually do when I'm getting ready to do this. And I also looked in the thesaurus. So I think I'm just going to throw the word out there. And when you think of courage, what what comes to your mind when you think of organized or organize and courage? What is the connection between those concepts or those words?
Well, I'll jump in right away. The first thing that came to mind is really actually about decisions to let go of the things. Because I'm thinking about like when I'm organizing anything, really what needs to happen is some decisions need to be made up front so that I know what I'm organizing,
Mhm.
and then I can have a process of how I would be organizing, knowing more about the what, right?
Yeah,
So I'm thinking about the courage part of that for me would be the courage to let go or say no to something that I don't even need to organize it. It's actually taking things away so that I can better decide how to organize what I'm saying yes to.
yeah, 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 for sure. That takes courage. That takes courage. It's like building clarity, right? It's like what what is going to propel me forward and what can I let go of that's not in my focus or in my organize or my plan, as another way of saying that. How do I stay focused so that my decisions are in alignment with what I want to accomplish? That's what I got out of that. Yeah, yeah. So it brings us to that. I think organizing is also aligning. That would be another way of looking at it. Aligning my thoughts, aligning my actions. Yeah, yeah.
Me, um, courage seems to be about taking the chance to delve into something because there's some big projects for me, like um, organizing my assets. I just took a class on organizing my assets, and there's so many aspects to that. It's like, yeah, you said decide. Well, which one do we start with? How do we do it? And it's so big and so scary, maybe.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
You know, because it's unknown as to how I'm gonna go about doing it. So it's taking that first step to just take the time, get in there. My first step was I bought 3 folders to organize, so that was my first step, but I haven't jumped into the other part of it yet. And I have,
yeah,
well, mostly
yeah,
because of time constraints. It's like,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, when I heard you say, going into your assets, and you said scary. Yeah, that is scary. And I thought that, anything scary involves fear, fear of the unknown, fear of not being organized, right?
yeah,
Fear of not knowing, what my assets are and where they are.
or knowing
Um,
knowing the steps of how to organize it,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
things like digital data, you know? I'm like,
Yeah, Carol, something that you
little
said,
things.
oh, sorry, you froze.
you froze for
Something
a
that
second.
you said that caught my attention that I wrote down is the courage to set the time, right? To set the time and really like make that decision. Like this is important to me. I'm going to organize my time by saying yes to filling that in and then setting the space for learning the things that you're needing to learn in order to get them organized. So that's what I heard. The courage to set the time, you know, making that commitment to know this is something that you want to organize.
Yeah, yeah. And some things are, like you're saying, they're really big, you know, and there's so many parts and so
Mhm.
much to organize that I really think what you said, Becky, about being willing to let things go and focus on what's important. So if you're planning to delve into your finances and your assets, then maybe breaking that down into components, you know, like credit,
Right.
and then this, and then this. And that's like you bought the 3 folders to
Mhm.
get started. So the courage to organize is monumental when you're talking about taking action, you know, which is it's the courage to take action. We can think about and be aware of and willing as much as we want, but until we take action, nothing happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So some of the I looked up the antonyms for organized because I think sometimes looking at the opposite of it is kind of enlightening to think of, well, yeah, you know, the opposite of organized is disorganized, right? Haphazard, chaotic, unsystematic, hit or miss. You know, those are the opposites of being organized, and those, to me, those words are disempowering. You know, they really don't give me give me courage. They disempower me. And so the opposite of those would be, you know, to be systematic, to be structured. I mean, a word that kind of seems negative to me, but as I was looking and thinking about this, is methodical. And that's almost like taking action step by step by step. And the root word is method, you know, having a method to your organization so that it moves you forward, you know, orderly. And I don't know, I just think the more I thought about organization and organizing, it was empowering to me to think about that. You know, I'll organize my office so that I can work more effectively and more efficiently. You know, I organize my kitchen so things are accessible, and the opposite of doing those things brings disorder and frustration and puts you in such a position of being disempowered, you know. So that was, I was thinking in that way, how the courage to be organized really affects our efficiency, you know, of taking action, even the capacity to take action.
Yeah. I think I think about my relationship with Tim, and it's like I'm the organized one. And that's keep the thought that keeps going in my mind is that plan to fail or fail to plan thing.
Hmm.
You know, it's like I'm the one who's planning and organizing and trying to keep things orderly, and it's all good. But if I left it up to Tim, we would not be doing any of that, you know? So it's like it's I relish the task of doing it, although I can be fearful about jumping into something that's really broad. And so my part in this is going to be engaging Tim because he can do the little details. I'm the big picture person, but he can do the little details. So getting him engaged is where my focus will be.
Yeah, that's awesome because one of the definitions of organized was details, you know, detailed. And I'm like you, I'm not a detailed person. I, you know, except because you made me think of something.
Good.
my kitchen better be organized. And I will do anything to keep that kitchen organized and clean. Now, if I could take that same commitment to my kitchen and put that in other areas of my life, that's one way we can really look at what we do well and transfer that to something that we perhaps would like to do better. And that just kind of brought that to my mind, that I am organized. I mean, the way I put my dishes in the dishwasher has got to be the same way all the time. I put, things this way. It's very organized. And so it's ease in keeping it that way so that I feel good when I walk in my kitchen. I feel really good. And most of my house is that way, not my office. So if
Yeah.
I could take that feeling, that set of skills, because I believe it's a set of skills, it's a desire, it's a want, and transfer that in little increments to other areas where, I want to improve, then organization could support me in, don't just like making sales calls, like, whatever it is that I'm lacking the courage to do in other areas of my life, because it's courage. At night before I go to bed, it takes courage to stay up and get things orderly, to do it, take action without even thinking sometimes. And that I think I would like to incorporate in other areas of my life. So thank you for that, because that helped me think of beyond where I was thinking of organization and how it takes courage to do that, because the things I don't do that I'm not organized at are because they're out of my comfort zone. And so fear is keeping me, safe, which is not keeping me growing. It's not keeping me taking action, right? Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
organized in a lot of different ways, like with my bank statements. I spent 3 hours yesterday looking for 2 errors. And I'm like, huh? But that, it's like that determination, that habit I have of doing those things is like great, but I don't have habits on things I haven't done yet. So it's like how to bring you, just like you said, make those things habits.
Yeah. And
Like
it's
it's
fear.
almost unconscious.
Yeah, it's fear. It's the unknown, right? We haven't developed a pattern, a system, which is what organization is. It's systemic, it's structured, it's orderly. So as we develop those systems
Yep.
in areas of our life that aren't systematized and are still maybe chaotic or hit and miss, because I like that. I'm hit and miss when it comes to doing certain things. And it's because it's out of my comfort zone. So there we go. It's fear. And courage is the antidote to fear.
Yeah, when you were talking about that, Terry, I wrote down make a process and set up a system, because that equals, SOPs, which I say success on purpose. So where do we want to be successful in our life? What area do we want to be successful in? That's a success on purpose. It equals a system. It equals a process. It's those habits that we're developing. And much like you just said, your dishwasher, that's because you developed a process that you know how it goes. It's on autopilot. You're not even thinking about where the bowls go and how they go in there. You're just doing it, and it's systemized. And it's a relief, really, to have that organization, because now you're not making those decisions. You're out of decision fatigue because it's autopilot. It's a program that you just run, because it is a pattern and a habit that supports the process.
Yeah. 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 And you do it on a regular basis, so it becomes habitual. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Structure. Yeah. Yeah, because when I empty the dishwasher, the forks are in one section, the spoons are in another section, the knives are another, and it just whoop, boom, 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 boom. I don't even, it just makes it so much easier. And yeah, so why not do that in some other areas of where I still feel like I'm growing. I'm still stepping out of my comfort zone. I'm still taking those little, um, small steps, stretches out of my comfort zone. Yeah. Courage. Courage is facing our fears and getting ourselves out, taking action where a stretch is something we know how to do. We're just not doing it. And then that can lead us to taking risks, which are, really stepping into the unknown. And we can decide whether it's useful or not as we make those decisions. We're always evaluating so that we can eliminate those things that are ancillary to what we're really trying to accomplish. Good thoughts, lady. You're helping me a lot. That's why I love just the discussion format, because it's a win-win for everybody.
So I was just thinking too, about the November theme in OP is gratitude power. So then, right, I'm now thinking, how do I feel about how organized I am about gratitude in my life? And, does it feel like a powerful thing that I give attention to, or that I do have a system or a process for? Is now where I'm kind of on my thought pattern.
Yeah. And you do have a couple of systems. I mean, I'm aware of that. And,
Yeah.
by doing a gratitude journal, that's one way that you give power to those things in your life, and it keeps you thinking about it. I know because Thanksgiving's coming up, I always write during the month of November, I keep a little running gratitude. My goal is to write 100 in the month gratitudes, and it's relatively easy to do. And I can go over 100 because it's a state of mind, right? And there's power in that state of mind. And then I'm a person who prays, and I always start my prayers with gratitude. I don't ask for things. I thank God for the things that he's blessed me with, which is another way of keeping gratitude at the front of my mind, because then that gives me power to be looking for that. Because I don't know, I just have this attitude that gratitude is in everything and that you can find gratitude in the chaos. You can find gratitude in the challenges, and you can find gratitude in heartbreak. It's how you look at it. And it has the power to change your mindset and to help you to be powerful and to be resilient and to move forward. And that takes courage. It just takes courage to have that mindset. So I think that, to me, courage is power. It's
I was
just,
gonna
it
say,
is. Yeah,
gratitude is a superpower.
it is a superpower. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I think about how that's a process, right? Writing gratitudes, saying, thank you for your prayer time. Those are processes that are helped you organize the way that you express gratitude.
Yep. SOPs.
Mhm. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Put that
comes
on
down
paper.
to, it's really systemizing the things that are important to you so that you can focus on them and have clarity moving forward. It's a system that allows you to be courageous, because it gives you I don't know what the word is. It gives you a path. It gives you a goal. I don't know. I don't know what word it is, but it's some word out there that would would identify what that is, because to me, I love this book. I don't even know if I might have sent it to you, Becky. I don't know. It's Peaceful Living.
I have
You
the
have
book.
it. You have it. Well,
Yeah.
one of the things that I think it takes so much courage, because I read that every day. That's part of my non-negotiables. I'd write my gratitudes and acknowledgements, and then I read the daily Peaceful Living little blurb. And the more I study it, and Elizabeth Stitt, who's part of Katerina's organization and Polka Dot, so you might know her. she and I are meeting weekly, and we're going through a class on the compassionate communication. And I'm just trying to really systemize that mindset. And it's more and more about talking about needs and the courage to even know what your needs are.
Right.
It's like what it was the other day. There was one that was so powerful that I've gone back and read it several times, because it's like, whenever you're frustrated or you're having an expectation, or someone else is having you having expectation, you feel overwhelmed, try to find out what the need is under that feeling so that you can meet the need. And the need could be that you're feeling lonely, and yet you're doing this thing that's, self-destructive. But what's the need you're trying to meet by doing that? So maybe you blow up at somebody, or you think somebody, thinks this about you, or whatever it is that's causing this discomfort. Well, what do I need? Do I need to talk to a friend because I know they love me? Whatever that is, that to me is taking a lot of courage on my part to really get clear on what my needs are. Because if I'm feeling sad, why am I feeling sad? What need is not being filled, and how can I fill it? Or if it can't be filled, how can I grieve it and let it go?
Mm-hmm.
Because some needs can't be filled. And being able to be aware of that and have the courage to say, wow, I'm beating my head against a wall. I just need to let that go, and then let it go. And that takes courage, right? But it's amazing, because this is like the third or fourth time I'm reading that book, because every day it has a thing, and I just, it's a concept that is difficult to systemize, but I want to do that, so I'm taking the action to do it, and that's what takes the courage, right? So it's interesting when we talk about gratitude and we talk about communication and being in a place of joy, and even in the middle of chaos. And I really believe that's capable if we are aware of and grateful for the experiences that we have.
And that's organizing your emotions.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. Definitely. And organizing our thoughts, our cognition around how we show up.
Mm-hmm.
How do we organize difficulty or challenges? In church yesterday, a couple of the speakers were talking about, some really personal challenges they're facing, that they just, they're just feeling lost and alone. And then they systemized their faith, is what it is. They systemized their faith and their belief that they're not alone. And this is what they can do to move forward. And that's having a system in order to do that, in order to deal with challenges, to deal with grief, to deal with the unknown. We can have a way of doing that. And it's different for everybody. For some people, it's faith in the Lord, and it's knowing you're not alone and that you can do it. And He doesn't give you anything to do that you can't do. And it's for your own good, and all those things that, that come with that particular faith system, So it's interesting. Just this conversation is building my capacity to see, wow, organization is central to our capacity to move forward with courage, because it gives us a way to do it. A system is a way to function, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I keep
Yeah,
hearing,
excuse me.
like, when I heard you say that, I was thinking, like, that's the subconscious mind work, right? Having those habits, the memory, the muscle memory, like that is about our subconscious work
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and our emotions and our belief. That's where that all is.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. I don't know. Are you fans of Dan Brown, who wrote the Da Vinci Code? Have you read
Mm-mm.
any of his books?
No.
His books they're murder mystery adventure books.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's a Da Vinci Code, and I think there's 4 of them that have been made into movies
Hmm.
with Tom Hanks. Um, anyway, just wrote a new book. It's just came out, so I'm reading it. It's all about consciousness and the subconscious mind, because it's always around some kind of scientific thing. They're fascinating books. If you like adventure, I would recommend them, or watch the movies. The movies are good. And but it's opened up my mind to think about consciousness. And I've read, some metaphysical stuff that talks about we're all connected, our consciousness is all connected. And I believe that to be true in my faith system as well. And so this is just expanding my mind thinking about consciousness. Even though it's fiction, it's built upon, neuroscience and all this kind of stuff that so it's kind of fascinating. But when you said subconscious, that kind of kicked
Mhm.
that into my mind, because our subconscious mind is such a powerful part of who we are. And when
Yeah.
we recognize that, it's also powerful.
I wanted to say earlier about when you were talking about emotions and organizing your emotions. And I'm like, what about your thoughts? Do we have a system for organizing our thoughts?
Hmm.
And maybe gratitude is the key to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. As a man thinketh, so is he, right? Our thoughts are so powerful. Yeah. And
And
organizing.
journaling, putting
Yeah.
pen to paper is
Yeah.
the way that I organize my thoughts.
Yeah.
My planner,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Instead of thinking, I'm gonna have my calendar up in my head and what my to-dos are today, and where did I find joy in my day, and what's my intention for the day? Like all of that gets wrote out onto paper. That's how that's the conscious mind. That's already what's just here. I know it's there. And I'm capturing it by putting pen to paper and actually being able to see it then in front of me versus keeping it in my head and remembering it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking more of along the lines of when something comes into your head, your thought that maybe isn't a healthy thought.
Mm.
How do you organize that and say you just blow it off? Do you just, delve into it? No, I don't want to delve into some of those, but maybe sometimes you have to.
Mhm.
Or there's gratitude where you say, thanks for that thought, but no, thanks.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Is there a system for that aspect of,
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
That's I'm thinking of in Fearless Living, we talk about the will of fear and the will of freedom. And the will of fear is powered by self-destructive behavior, which can be thoughts or actions, but it's self-destructive. And the way to get off of that or out of that cycle or system of self-destruction, which our will of fear can bring us to, is to have thoughts and actions that are aligned with your essential nature, which is, your soul, what you were like. My essential nature is compassion, so I can have compassion for myself. Self-destructive thought is not having compassion for myself, and I can get out of that cycle of fear and self-destruction by loving myself and taking actions to get into my will of freedom rather than my will of fear. So I thought of that when you were saying, what do you do with it, with a self-destructive thought, or people call it stinking thinking, or,
Yep. Yep.
a thought that comes into your mind that really is not productive. It takes courage to recognize that, be aware of that, and then have a thought that takes you out of that. So it's kind of like I have some songs that I'll sing when that happens, and they'll take me out of that. So what are some actions that you can have some the word, I hate this when words go out of my head, some proactive behaviors that you can do right away when those thoughts come into your mind? Like, I can go outside. If I go outside and walk outside, I can get rid of the thought, because just the fresh air will take it away. So things that we can do proactively to eliminate those self-destructive thoughts, because we want our mind to be systematic and thinking proactively and positively. But life hits us, I mean, life is not always positive in the terms of whoo, whoo, whoo. It gives us these challenges and opportunities to say, no, that thought is not serving me at all. And I'm going to replace this thought with this thought that is proactive and helps me recognize, my value.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so first it's the awareness, and then for me, it's cancel, cancel, cancel.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like,
I have this vision. It's from Disney. It's a Donald Duck cartoon. And Donald Duck is, he's always making stupid choices, right? He's mad all the time. So he has this little devil duck sitting on this shoulder and this little angel duck sitting on this shoulder. And so I just go, and that helps me. And that's funny, that's funny, but it works. It works because I
Yeah.
mean, looking at myself right now, I can see them there. It's like I can visualize them there, and I just go,
And that's a process, right? That's a system that
yeah.
you've developed for yourself
developed,
that
right?
it brings you in a different state also,
It makes me
right?
smile right away. It makes me smile. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So those are
Yeah.
the things that you can organize in your life, to assist you in being where you want to be, doing what you want to do, and being aligned with your values. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say one more thing about that too is when I say, that's great because you're changing your state. I would say that that's probably one of the biggest things for me to help me get out of the stinking thinking is like stop thinking and start moving in some other way. So,
Yeah.
right, if you're having some kind of a limiting belief or judgment, right, then something that, and you said listening to a song, Terry. I would go as far to say as I get up, I shake out, I'll dance, I'll sing, I'll actually do something to get me out of the state where that thought or that judgment could enter, and then it can't stay there. It has to move through a
Yeah.
process of getting eliminated in some way by not sitting in it, right? That's where I won't keep journaling. I would change actually like my environment and how I'm thinking. I would go out for a walk or,
Yeah.
do something to get in action mode more than letting it kind of reel.
Yeah. And those are proactive behaviors. Every one of
Yeah.
those is a proactive behavior. And if we have a list of those in our subconscious, even,
Mm-hmm.
we can access
Autopilot.
those immediately. Sometimes it's just taking a breath can do it. But like for you, if I walk outside and I breathe fresh air, like when I get really cold, I just go outside in the hot sun and it just changes my complete, state of mind. And yeah, those are all proactive behaviors. Pulling weeds is one of my proactive behaviors. I did the zero landscape in my front yard with the rocks and all the beautiful plants and the riverbed. And if a weed pops up, I'm out there. I'm pulling those weeds. I don't want a single weed coming up out of my rocks. And it just puts me into another place. Isn't that weird? I mean, it just puts me in another place. It's a proactive behavior. And so sometimes I'm scanning the rocks trying to find a weed so I can pull it out and get in a better place,
Well, that's just it, right? They're systems that support.
Yep. And that's
Yeah.
organization. Yeah.
One,
Yeah. Well,
one thing I've chosen to do is pay attention to my words
Mhm.
and get rid of all the negative words like should or need or have to,
yeah. Yeah.
try, you know.
Yeah. I'm trying. No, you're practicing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Try,
Those
you
are
can't
all
try.
great
You
things.
either do it or you don't.
Yeah.
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 Yoda told us
Exactly.
that.
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah, so that I said Yoda told us that. Do or do
Oh.
not, there is no try.
Oh.
And that's true, Carol, right? Organizing your words,
Yeah.
organizing your language around that.
Yeah. This has gone all kinds of ways. I mean, it's so exciting when you think about, how important organization is to our capacity to be courageous, and take action. To take action. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. I love this. I'm so glad you came on, Carol, and decided to stay because you've been a real asset.
Absolutely.
And organize my assets. No,
I love it. Do you
Yeah.
feel complete for our conversation, Terry?
Pardon me?
Do you feel complete with our conversation for
Yeah,
the,
unless anybody else has something to say, I just want to, remind myself and in that way say it out loud that taking action is the act of courage. And it can be taking action in our thoughts, in our words, in our actions, the things we do. But I know for me, that's probably where I choose to practice accessing courage is in my actions. I just, there's still that fear that keeps me from where it's hard for me, where it's out of my comfort zone, where it's a challenge. Um, Courage is what I can access in order to do that. And that's organizing systems of, success on purpose. I know how to pick up the phone. I know how to type an email. I know how to make a text and ask for what I need or share what I need. It's that fear of rejection that keeps me in my comfort zone. I know that. It takes courage to act on it. So, what are you needing courage to take action on? That's my challenge.